We all love John O'Brien's magnifying glass trick, so let me remind you what it was like. He selected the magnifying glass, went over the picture, and there we are. We could see the apples, which is the title of the picture. Okay, so how did we do it? I will show you now in a few steps how we could do it using the tools of a SmartBoard. We have to learn how to use the tools of a SmartBoard because you will use both tools in schools, SmartBoard and the Active Board, and it is the objective of this course so that you learn both. So let me show you how to do it. First of all, notice that I'm using the recording function of a SmartBoard, which is on your floating tools in here. You click on it and this box will appear, and you click on the red button here and it allows you to record. I'll just send it down. Now, as always in life, things never are what they seem to be, as they say, and nor is our little magnifying glass. Let us have a look why. Because if I group it and click on ungroup, look what happens. All of a sudden we find out that I've got two objects. I will very quickly explain to you why is it that I had to have this extra circle. First of all, let me remind you where I got the picture from and where I got the magnifying glass from the galleries. But this is not to say that this is the only source from which you can have your images. You can go to Microsoft.com and bring any clip art that you wish, that you find there. It's all here transferable. You can import them here. You can bring your own pictures from your own My Documents, My Pictures files and so on. So it's quite nice. You can do whatever, any of those things. Now the reason why I had to do that, to put this thing on it, because this picture is actually very untransparent. You can't really do much with it. So I had to put something on it that would allow me to work with it as a object which was constructed in the SmartBoard. I could have made it white. I mean, I could have filled this picture with the white color as opposed to green. Doesn't really matter. And what I did now, once I placed the green color on it, I clicked the control button. I selected also the magnifying glass at the same time. I grouped the two objects and now they become one. So when children come and pull it with their hands, it will move and act as one object. Okay, so what we have, we've got the magnifying glass, we've got the picture, and now we have words. Okay, and now we have to make sure that all of this works together. So I will actually delete those words just to make sure that you know how to do it. So what I did, I went to the text, I clicked on it, and I said I will write the word apples. Now you need to color them in a color that actually will make the text invisible. So let's pick brown. Okay, we've got it. Now I'll select it and I'll push it somewhere here so it's invisible. Okay, now how could we make sure that this particular object actually, when placed here, will still show us the text apples? Well, it doesn't always happen, and I'll show you how. For instance, if I place this thing at the back, the text at the back, did you see it? I grouped it at the back. All of a sudden that doesn't work. So what does this tell us? That now, in order to make this magnifying glass trick work, we need to play here with layers. So how I did that? Well, I made sure that the picture itself, when I selected it, when I order it, I push it right at the back. And to do that, I click on Send to Back. Why is that? Because it's the least important object for us. It's basically our background. Now we certainly will want apples to come out. Once we put this magnifying glass on top of it, we want this to be actually on top of the magnifying glass and the magnifying glass underneath it. So what we have to do is to make sure that the apples are actually pushed right to the front. Right? So even though they push to the front, because of the brown background you can't see it, but they are at the front. Right? because it's now you can't actually do it second time. So we've got this picture at the back. Let's make sure. Yes, it is at the back, and this one at the front. So what do we do with this one? We will put it in between. But how do we put it in between? Well, if we pushed it to the front, then it will be equal with the text, so you couldn't see it. But I can actually send it slightly backwards, which means it will be between the thing which is right at the back and between the text which is right at the front. Let us have a look whether I made the selection correct. Sometimes you have to just redo it. I didn't make it correct, so let's do it again. Bring it forward a little bit. Okay, let's bring it forward a little bit. Oh, it's working, right? So you have to make sure that however you do it, you just bring it either a little bit backwards or a little bit forward so that it ends up in the end between the picture and the text. Okay, and that's how it works. Notice what will happen if I actually send it forward. If I order it, bring it to the front, and if I push it on the text, it's invisible. Okay, let's have a look what happens if I send it fully backwards. Send it to the back, totally invisible. So now we have to basically play with the order. Bring it forward a little bit. Will it work? Yes, it's working. Okay, so this is the little trick of the magnifying glass.